our martial arts workout. Having previously done the very short range techniques, the elbow strikes, knee strikes, stuff like this, we're going to go now to the more long range techniques. And we'll go over 3 techniques. That's the palm strike, the stop kick, and the mule kick. The palm strike covers kind of the intermediate distance between the very short range techniques, the elbows and knees, and the kicks. And so we'll go over a few drills. We'll start with the palm strike. For the palm strike, basic idea for the palm strike, you have one leg in the front, as always. And just as we learned for the forward elbow strike, that the hip rotates, and we use this rotational energy to create a linear, straight line motion, in this case with the elbow. And now for the palm strike, we'll throw the elbow in the same way, only that now we'll also stretch the arm. So that's the idea of the palm strike, the rotational energy that we already know from the elbow strike. And now we start also extending the arm as the elbow flies forward. There goes the arm being extended. When you use the palm strike, what you hit with is the palm heel, so the lower part of the palm, basically where these lower arm bones end. So I like to think of using the palm strike as kind of stabbing with the lower arm. Yeah? And this is not like this. It's also not a pushing motion. It's a strike. If you think, if you used fists, you'd have the same amount of energy that you'd be able to put out through the body rotation, through the stepping. Now we just have a different surface that we're hitting with. The palm strike, in general, is a lot safer than fists, because for the fist, you have the difficulty that the fist has to be very stiff when you hit, otherwise it will buckle, and you can sprain it or break it. Of course, also you can break your fingers if the fist is not correctly formed. So there are a lot of things that can go wrong with fists, and so you train fists really a lot. If you train your fists, you'd have to think for years, you'd have to train your fists, punching into heavy stuff, to condition your fists to a point where you could use them safely on the street. So for all of you that don't punch all the time, really concentrate on palm strikes. If you want to learn something to defend yourself, the palm strikes are a lot safer. Okay, so the mechanics I already explained. Rotation of the hip. As always, we don't want to over-rotate. Although that gives us more power, that's also more dangerous for ourselves. Yeah, so the palm strike is a nice and safe option that should be in your arsenal, and that you can train both in the air to get the mechanics, the motion, and then of course against targets, against pads, against punching bags or whatever you have, to really train the power. So generally for the palm strike, there are 2 ways that you can train it. If you Google palm strike, for example, for self-defense, you'll mostly find the version where I have my hands up in a guard, like kind of a fence, okay? A barrier between me and the opponent. And then from there, you will find people throwing the palm strikes like this, from the outside to the center. And that's fine, you can train them like this. So when you want to drill them, arms up, kind of in front of your shoulders. And now with the rotation, start with the rear hip, the rotation, because now, here I'm rotated, it's easier for me to come back with a rotation. Mostly I find when people start to strike with the front side, that they kind of forget about, then it's like this, no real rotation. So I would always recommend, for beginners at least, start with the rear and rotate back to where you came from. Rear and rotate back, rear and rotate back. And the palm strikes you want to do really training like this, slowly in the beginning, to get the good coordination. What does it feel like when your hip supplies the energy? Yeah, for example, if I extend the arm too quickly before my hip rotation, that would be wrong. If my hip rotates, and now I start extending, would also be wrong. So there's a certain timing that you're supposed to learn, and that's what the repetitions are for. The good timing to be able to get nice power into your palm strikes. Now the second way to do the palm strike is instead of having the arms on the outside and then striking on the center, we actually put the arms on one line and we strike like this. And this is straight Wing Chun. Yeah? And the trick here is, if you want to train like this, is to always kind of thread your arm through your own elbow. Yeah? Bring the hand here through the elbow. And this palm strike, going through the center like this, has certain advantages as far as being able to divert an opponent's incoming blows that might be fired at you while you're striking. But I cannot show this well without a partner. And in general, you can train both. Train them like this. You can also use a sideways palm. Train them like this. You can also train them low if you want. And then it's normally always the sideways palm, because with an upward facing palm you would get stuck, kind of. You wouldn't really be able to get the body well. But you could train also kind of body shots, coming in here from the sides to the liver, the spleen, the ribs. Huh? Okay, as for drills, I already explained. Here, not too quickly, just practice your mechanics. Rotation of the hip in both directions. Rotation, and back to where I came from, the other side rotates. Rotation, rotation. Okay, so you do these. And then another one that's important to train is, you start like this, and now we strike always with the rear hand first. And we do it too quickly. Yeah, really as quickly as you can. There should be no delay between these two blows. And then you should also get a feeling a little bit better for the energy that the strike really, that the strike is able to transport, okay? You can also do 3. When you do 3, you'll notice that you always then start with the other hand. Here the left hand starts, now the right hand starts. Left hand starts, right hand starts. And again, make sure that this doesn't look like this. Okay, it's not about the arms, it's about what happens here. So the important thing is the hip rotation. Okay, so having done the palm strike in a standing position, which teaches you the basics, then we're going to take it into motion. To do this, I'll show you a couple of different drills. Okay, the first one is like this. Again, I have my hands up, one leg in the front, one leg in the back. I'm going to start with the side, the arm, where the leg is in the back. And I'm going to start stepping, but kind of across. So even though I'm going to hit with the right hand first, my left leg is going to be doing the stepping first. Step, 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 step. And here what I want you to pay attention to is the rhythm. So the first strike comes as the front leg plants, and the second strike comes as the rear leg plants. So that there's a transfer of weight, your body weight, going forward. Okay? So I'll show this a little bit. And when you train this, you can do like kind of lanes. So you go forward and turn around. And again, of course, here when I step, you should be able to see that here is a hip rotation. And here again. Okay, and the common mistake would be to have the leg or the arm already extended as the leg is still in the air. Yeah, so you want to be coming with the weight, and as the foot, the heel touches, your power goes forward. Okay. So then we can also do this one going forwards and backwards. It's nice. Then even if you have limited space, you don't need to turn around and come back now. Okay, so going backwards, it's the same side. Yeah, the right hand and right leg together, left hand and left leg together. Go forward again. And again, it's important here that the strike connects as your heel plants. Yeah, you don't want to start hitting here with the foot in the air, okay? So it's coordination, always between the legs and the hands. Yeah? Now going backwards, we just did, instead of going across, we were doing same side, the leg and the arm on the same side. And we can also use this going forwards. It will look like this. As I step forward with the front leg, here's my first strike with the hip. And there comes the second one. So this one, from my perspective, is a little faster because I'm using the arm that's in the front. First, it's quick, but also doesn't have the same power as the crossed one. Yeah? So this one is nice and fast, and then here we get a nice rotation of the hip and nice weight transfer for the second one. Okay, so you step forward, as your foot plants, the front arm strikes, and then the rear arm follows. Show the other side again. Pay attention here, I'm not dragging my foot over the ground, but I'm lifting up and then the foot steps down again. Push yourself off, and as you land, you want to have a line of power running from the palm heel all the way down to the heel. So we'll do one more with the palm strike. This is in combination with the knee strike. It works like this. Again, I use this basic drill where I step and I hit with the front hand. The only variation now is I will step, and instead of bringing the hit in here with the foot coming forward, I'll just use the rotation of my hip, and the weight coming forward I'll put into the knee strike. So it's like this. And the first one that you should do is palm, palm, knee. Be nice and stable, set down. And then do the other side. Set down. Yeah? So that there's always a small pause between each successive iteration of the drill. Okay, when you can do that, then you can still go one level further, and that is that you palm, palm, knee, palm, palm, knee, palm, palm, knee. Okay, so here the deal is that I don't stop the motion of my hip. I have continuously the hip, the body mass going forward.